In Venezuela, the Supreme Court of Justice reiterated the summons to the former presidential candidates of the elections held on July 28th. Ecuador rejects Mexico's request for former Vice President Jorge Glass to be released from prison and transferred to a third country. Palestinian Hamas Movement elected its new leader after the assassination in Tehran of Ismail Haniyeh. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Venezuela, the Supreme Court of Justice reiterated the summons to the former presidential candidates of the elections held on July 28th. The President of the Supreme Court of Justice, Cariz Lias Rodriguez, emphasized that all the summoned people have been notified. At the same time, she reminded that the date and time when each candidate must appear before the court in order to file all the electoral instruments of legal relevance that are in the possession of the political parties. Moreover, Rodriguez stressed the importance of the attendance of all former candidates while pointing out that failure to do so would entail the consequences set forth in the legal system in force.
The Supreme Court of Justice of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela considers it appropriate to reiterate the commitment and the will before the Venezuelan people to do justice. Therefore, nothing will stop us, in our holy mission, be published, registered, and communicated, and comply with what has been ordered. Given, signed and sealed, in the office room of the Electoral Chamber of the Supreme Court of Justice, in Caracas, on the 6th day of August, in the year 2024.
In Venezuela, the re-elected President Nicolás Maduro on Tuesday reiterated the judicial summons issued by the Supreme Court of Justice. In this way, the Bolivarian leader made the announcement in the framework of a mobilization of senior citizens in support of the re-election of Maduro and in defense of sovereignty and peace. In this sense, the group known as the grandparents of the homeland urged the different sectors of the country to cease their attempts to generate violence and fill citizens with hatred in order to start building a prosperous and peaceful nation. During the act, Maduro reaffirmed that he expects that all former candidates mentioned will come to the call of the Supreme Court of Justice and that if necessary, he will deliver 100% of the records that are in the possession of the government.
Just now, before leaving, I heard a statement from the President of the Supreme Court of Justice. The magistrate said that the 10 candidates have already been judicially summoned according to the codes and laws of the country. I received the judicial summons and so the 38 heads of the 38 parties that participated in the election got it too. It must go to court on Friday. I'm thinking about inviting the people to accompany me or not. Let me think about it. Leave the fuss. I will go and I will answer all the questions that the court will ask me. And I told Diosdado Cabello, political chief of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, and all the great patriotic poll, to prepare for us to deliver. If required, as I am sure, it will be 100% of the tally sheets that are in our possession. And I hope that all candidates and all parties deliver the documents there. The big question having been judicially summoned all the candidates and parties. Which of the candidates will not attend? Which we'll see. We will see.
In Colombia, the National Liberation Army announced on Tuesday that it will wait until August 23rd for the government to remove the political organization from the list of organized armed groups. The removal of the organization from the list was the ELN condition for attending an extraordinary meeting aimed at resuming the peace talks, provided that the respective decree is issued before the given deadline. In a statement signed by the ELN Central Command, it mentions that the presidential decree with the removal of the organization from the organized armed groups list should have been issued in June 2023 and that it will wait until August 23rd to carry out the required action, and that during that time it won't carry out offensive operations against the military forces. In Ecuador, the Ombudsman's Office has drafted a bill to regulate euthanasia. The draft law also provides the possibility for children and teenagers to opt for assisted death, as long as the sick person has a prognosis of serious incurable health or irreversible injury. In declarations to Ecuavisa, the General Coordinator for the Protection of Human and Natural Rights of the Ecuadorian Ombudsman's Office, Rodrigo Varela, detailed that the proposal was developed following the Constitutional Court's ruling that decriminalized euthanasia last February and has 59 articles to be evaluated by the National Assembly. Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Ecuadorian nation rejected on Tuesday Mexico's request for former Vice President Jorge Glass to be released from prison and transferred to a third country. In a press release, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs reiterated what was mentioned in the press release of April 5th, in reference to a document where Ecuador states that it disagrees with the asylum protection provided by Mexico and refuses to grant safe conduct to Glass. For its part, Bancada Ciudadana expressed on Tuesday its disagreement with the Ecuadorian government refusal, stating that this decision announced by President Daniel Noboa represents once again the injustice and dehumanization that, as a society, they must condemn. Meanwhile, the government of Mexico demanded that the International Court of Justice resolve the lawsuit against Ecuador for the assault on the Mexican embassy in the city of Quito. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador regretted that the International Court of Justice didn't issue a ruling against Ecuador for violating the immunity of his country's embassy in Quito to arrest the former Ecuadorian Vice President Jorge Glass, who had received asylum in the institution, leading to the rupture of relations between the two countries. In this regard, the Mexican president questioned the bureaucratic network of the United Nations and stressed that the organization is inefficient in addressing global problems. In other news, the National Assembly of Ecuador approved a report that seeks to initiate an impeachment trial against 4 ministers of Daniel Noboa's government linked to irregularities against the protection of nature in a commune of the country. The accused in the case would be Sade Fritzi, Minister of Environment, Water and Ecological Transition, Giancarlo Lafredo, Minister of National Defense, Niels Olsen, Minister of Tourism, and Monica Palencia, Minister of the Interior. The accusation is based on the non-compliance of constitutional and legal functions regarding the protection of nature in the commune of Olón, in the province of Santa Elena, where Noboa owns a residence and where his wife plans to develop a real estate project. And moving on to Bolivia, President Luis Arce announced that he will call for a popular referendum on fuel price subsidies and limitations of presidential re-election. The purpose of the referendum is for the people to decide whether or not to maintain fuel subsidies, while he warned of the introduction to the market of new non-subsidized gasoline alongside the existing ones, which prices are equivalent to half of the average values in South America. Regarding re-election, the president assured that the decision to consult the people was not made for personal benefit. But President Arce is eligible for re-election, although since December 2023, no Bolivian can hold the same office more than twice, which makes it impossible for former President Evo Morales to run again. The Peruvian province of Huanta completed its second day of general strike to demand the eradication of mining operations in the territory because they contaminate water for human consumption and irrigation. The second day of the strike by farmers' communities and the People's Defense Front of Huanta in the region of Ayacucho was carried out with the suspension of activities, very crowded marches, and roadblocks. The movement, with the slogan "Water Yes, Mines No," demands the total cessation of mining activity that they claim poisons the water sources in the Andean highlands, including the Razuhuica Basin, which is the main water supply.
En defensa de las cabeceras.
Tropical storm Debbie caused significant damage in Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina as it passed through the United States. In Georgia, Debbie triggered tornadoes and flooded streets with up to 64 centimeters of rain. Firefighters have had to use boats to evacuate residents and deliver supplies. So far, 5 deaths have been reported in that state. The storm will track northward along the coast until Thursday morning and then make landfall again in South Carolina and North Carolina, which have already suffered flooding valued at $2 billion. In Germany, authorities reported 1 person dead and 8 others injured after a building collapsed in the country's western region. The incident occurred on Tuesday night in the municipality of Kruf, in a hotel that housed 14 people, 9 of whom remain under the rubble. Authorities also reported that a total of 31 people in the vicinity of the collapsed hotel were ordered to evacuate. Emergency crews were quickly on the scene to continue the rescue of the remaining victims, while police are conducting an investigation to determine the causes of the collapse of the building. An NGO, Utopia 56, denounced a social cleansing committed by the French government after clearing homeless migrants from Bastille Square in Paris. The police expelled over 200 homeless migrants with their tents located next to the Olympic rings. The NGO announced that on the occasion of the Games, 216 permanent housing places were created for isolated homeless people living permanently in the vicinity of the Olympic venues, while more than 3,500 people sleep every night on the streets of the French capital. They affirmed that thousands of people housed in buffer centers will be thrown out on the streets as soon as the Games are over.
They've been here for months, actually every day, and a few days ago they told us it was important to unite because we have a lot of homeless people, so we thought we would unite in the struggle for housing, to be able to show together the reality of what's happening during these Olympic Games, people without homes, without rights. Even if it's a party, it's not a party for everyone. So we decided to make ourselves visible, and there were about 250 of us.
We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Found your break, don't go away. Welcome back. Hamas political leader in the Gaza Strip, Yahya Sinwar, has become the new leader of the Palestinian movement, succeeding Ismail Haniyeh, who was assassinated in Tehran by the Israeli army. The Al-Qassam brigades, the military wing of Hamas, declared that Haniyeh's assassination is a critical event that elevates the battle with Israel to new levels and will have significant repercussions throughout the region. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps recently stated that Israel will resolutely receive the response to the murder of Haniyeh and that it will be a severe punishment at the right time, place, and quality. In Lebanon, hundreds of people gathered on Tuesday night to celebrate the appointment of Yahya Sinwar as the new Hamas political leader. Resistance supporters rallied in the city of Saida while waving Palestinian flags and chanting slogans against Israel and the United States. The announcement by the Islamic Resistance Movement of Palestine follows the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in an Israeli attack while he was in Tehran to attend the inauguration ceremony of the new Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian. Yahya Ibrahim Hassan al-Sinwar joined Hamas in 1987. He is known as Israel's main rival and leader of the Estadin al-Qassam brigades, the arm wing of Hamas in the years 2017 and 2021.
We salute our people in Palestine and in the diaspora for these sentiments that accompanied the election of the new head of the political bureau, Brother Yahya Sinwar, who will succeed Brother Abu al-Abd Haniyeh. May God have mercy on him. We consider that the election of Sinwar signifies the inauguration of a new stage.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas stated that after the end of the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip, consultations on the formation of a national unity government in Palestine will begin. President Abbas clarified that this would happen only if Hamas movement accepts the terms of reconciliation. He noted that ending the Israeli aggression against the Gaza Strip is the current priority of the Palestinian authorities. The Palestinian leader emphasized that a technocratic government was installed 3 months ago, made up of Palestinian professionals who do not belong to political factions, and added that it fulfills its responsibility towards their people in the Gaza Strip to the same extent as it does in the West Bank and Jerusalem.
هذه هي ولا وين؟ أي واحدة أي واحدة. هذه.
Come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. Join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.